and really fast forwarded through a lot of some of the junk matches. And I guess or whatever I don't know, whatever they were really doing this week. It was an adequate show. Um, the corporation, the authority, is definitely shilling, and I don't. I'm surprised they have to shill as much for the network. It's an adequate product for what they're offering. I don't know what they're trying to do, if they're trying to compete with HBO. I'm sure that comes into their competition, but they're not HBO, they're not Showtime. It's wrestling. You have a dedicated niche audience here.
See, I think they were kind of doing it tongue in cheek and on purpose, and I thought it was very amusing. The whole you can catch it on the network for just $9.99, and they kept bringing up the it's only $9.99,
Every opportunity.
and I
Yeah.
I thought it was funny. Um, I don't know if you having your major heel force, uh, kind of trying to sell it is the wisest decision. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe John Cena getting out there would be a little bit better to sell it, or Daniel Bryan. But hey, whatever works. I think they're kind of doing it tongue in cheek, and I don't know. I kind of found it funny and worthwhile, worth watching.
And I think the crowd bought into it and they saw it. I mean, you even saw Triple H laughing as every time he had to say
Hmm.
it. He did a good straight face for it the first couple of times, but then everyone kind of caught on and was like, "Okay, we got it. Yeah, okay." And then it became its own little
Even
thing.
you're right with the crowd because they were even chanting along with Triple H, saying the whole crowd together, 9.99. So
Yeah. So that was pretty good. It, uh, I guess I am more interested in the Bray Wyatt Y2J storyline that's going on, that match that's coming up at SummerSlam. It's funny because one thing I've started to notice, maybe it's just me, and I'm sure it is just me, and you already see it on a the rotation basis, as far as the roller coaster of the highs and lows of the season. But usually 2 weeks before the match or the big pay per view, it seems to be a much better production as far as on Monday night. The week before, a rather poor production
that's actually called
because,
the
well,
Go Home Show, by the way.
okay,
The Raw
okay.
before, yeah, it's a wrestling term.
I mean, you have a lot more of the B players or the I don't know the ones that are in need of TV time, getting that time, while your main stars are out there recovering. I don't know what the hell they were doing a couple of weeks before with having having Bad News Barrett end up getting injured by Jack Swagger, or was it Cesaro? I can't remember. I think it was Cesaro at that time. Having some of your bigger players out there getting injured, and the rash of injuries certainly have not helped WWE at this point in time, at least from my opinion, my perspective. But I don't expect next week's show to be that good. But I certainly, I don't know what they're even. I think Chris Jericho won't even be there wherever they're at. Bray Wyatt will probably not even be there. If they are, I would expect Harper and oh gosh, Rowan to be there, but otherwise, can't. I actually think there's a good storyline that could come out of what happened this past Monday between Harper and Bray Wyatt. For the storyline that's going on for SummerSlam, Jericho had to go through the Wyatt family so that Bray Wyatt would not have any side ring help or anyone's around the ring, being Harper or Rowan. Well, Bray broke it and disqualified Harper. Now, the last pay per view event, Harper and Rowan did a very good job in their tag team match. I was disappointed that they didn't win, but I almost feel like they're strong enough to compete without the Wyatt name.
Um, so you're saying a separation of the Wyatts?
I would like that. Otherwise, I hope they welcome in Paige to the Wyatt
She
family.
would fit in, wouldn't she?
Yeah. There, five free advice right there.
She yeah, 'cause she's a little bit dark. I think she would fit in. Um, I don't know. I like the three of them together. Um, but they are kind of allowing the tag team of Harper and Rowan to be themselves a little bit, yet still be part of the Wyatt family. So I don't know, but as far as uh, those two go in the tag team division as a whole, I don't think I've seen a match for the tag titles for SummerSlam yet. Have you?
No, I haven't. Maybe that'll be the big announcement for this week. Maybe even at SmackDown. Maybe that. But I
I
would think, just when that is recorded, I think I would figure that would have leaked
I mean, the
already.
Usos have held the titles for a while, and none of the other teams have really gone on enough of a streak where I think like they're the clear cut number one contenders. I was thinking, why not a fatal four way match with the Usos defending against uh, the Wyatts, um, Ryback, and then Goldust and Stardust. I think having all four teams in
I could
one
get
match,
behind
I
that.
think that would be the best way to go, right?
Yeah, I agree. It'd be, boy, that'd be tough. But I think it would be good. I think that dynamic is better suited for the tag team as opposed to singles champion bout, which
Yeah,
they have
a four
at
way,
the bank.
a fatal four way match is usually okay as long as there isn't a title on the line, but unless they do it elimination style, that I don't mind. Where like you get pinned and
Ooh.
now there's three guys left. You get pinned and now there's two guys left. I think that's the way, especially if
Ooh.
there's a title on the line. That's the way that it should always be. But for whatever reason, they like to do the hey, you don't have to lose your title, and it doesn't make sense. It's not. It usually ends up in a weird, unexciting way, and I think the
Yeah.
elimination style is much more intriguing um and I guess fair. Like if you want to make it seem real, it's more fair, to crown a new champ that way.
Yeah, it's better drama. It's a better storyline. I couldn't agree more. Because it's a micro tournament then in its own sense. So
Right.
let's see. You had some breaking news that was released today for the WWE universe, and I think it's been met with a decent amount of applause, at least from some of the snark that I've been following on on
It's
Twitter.
funny. I feel like and this is about Alberto Del Rio. I've really felt, and I mentioned this, I believe last week, that over the last now, I'm going to say over the last month, that he has improved greatly in the ring, looking like he used to when fans got behind him. Much more exciting in the ring than he had been in the previous like 2 years. Um, and then he went and allegedly stabbed a WWE employee. From what I read, it was not another wrestler, but someone who works for the company, and obviously they uh, they didn't keep him around. They fired him today. So Alberto Del Rio no longer in the WWE. I know a lot of people didn't like him anyways because he had been boring for 2 years. I could understand why there's applause for getting rid of him. I think you should applaud the fact that he stabbed someone and that's why you're getting rid of him. Like applaud the fact that they did something right by getting rid of him. The match that he
Yeah.
was in on Monday, however, we need to talk about.
Yeah, it was good. I was impressed with it. It was announced that Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins were each going to have their own beat the clock challenge, and it was going to lead off with Dean Ambrose and Alberto Del Rio. Now, it went exactly kind of how I thought. I see Alberto Del Rio. I see bigger, stronger, much more difficult. an easy win for Seth Rollins because you're not going to from what I've seen so far, you're not going to knock Del Rio out within. You're not going to pull an RVD. You're not going to get him out within 3 minutes. It's just not going to be a short match. It went about 15 minutes or so, and was an entertaining enough match. Very brutal. Uh, Very brutal. Good work. Some tremendous showmanship, some tremendous athleticism for both sides. And Dean Ambrose, of course, I think, I shouldn't say of course, but ended up winning. I think if he didn't win, well, then there goes your storyline for the night and for
Yeah, the outcome
SummerSlam.
was kind of a given. That's for sure.
Yeah. It was just the biggest question was how long is it going to go and how is it going to end? Your thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're spot on. And like I said, it was an entertaining match. Del Rio's last three matches that I had seen on Raw were entertaining matches, which hadn't happened a lot in the last couple of years, as I mentioned. So it was good. I was happy to see Del Rio maybe making that turn. Um, Ambrose didn't seem like he wrestled out of control as I've seen him before. That happens. Ziggler does that all the time. Um,
Yes.
and it was a very entertaining match, one of the most, if not the most entertaining match of the night. And then let's now fast forward to the end of the night where Seth Rollins wrestles RVD. Wait, what? No, the Authority kind of flipped it and wanted to give their boy Seth Rollins a little bit of a easier match, so they set him up against Heath Slater. Obviously, Seth Rollins is going to defeat Heath Slater in a shorter amount of time than Ambrose defeated Del Rio. Except Ambrose wasn't going to let that happen. Now, he didn't interfere in the match, but he was at ringside and kind of messing with Seth Rollins' briefcase, the Money in the Bank briefcase, and distracting him enough where you were like, "Oh wow, Seth Rollins isn't going to beat the clock. He's going to defeat him, later than the time given." That didn't even happen. I mean, he was so distracted that yes, Heath
Oh, yeah.
Slater, former 3MB member, gets the upset victory in what was kind of amusing, an amusing match basically because of the antics that Ambrose was doing with the briefcase, and he even stole JBL's
Yeah.
5-gallon cowboy hat and threw that in the briefcase, which already had pop and popcorn in it. So that was kind of fun. So that
Yeah.
means Ambrose gets to choose the stipulation at SummerSlam for his match against Seth Rollins.
All right. What do you think the stipulation is going to be?
I have a feeling we're going to agree on this. I feel like his stipulation is going to be put that briefcase on the line. I
Yeah.
win, I get the briefcase. Put that briefcase on the line. Maybe they have a ladder match for it. Maybe another put that briefcase
Ooh.
back up top the ladder and let's do this again. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, I could see that. We talked about that before. We kind of hinted at that. I think after week two of this feud between Ambrose and Rollins, because at every juncture, at four events that we had seen, he's coming out and just railing on him, just interfering at any opportunity to do so, making life a living hell for the Authority, Corporation, and of course, new Golden Boy Seth Rollins. I see that. We talked about it. I think it's an easy and smart move to do. I shouldn't say easy, but I think it's going to be the move that is best for business. And I know Rollins will throw a fit. He's the new Golden Boy, and I think this kind of helps. I don't want to say put him in a place or put him in a hierarchy, but I think it's an opportunity, especially if he loses, for Randy Orton to really kind of reassert himself as